not well, got commitments, because a lot of this, our Friends of Queen's Park is a voluntary sort of group. And so we are made up of people who have, could spare the time, and we try to fit it in with everything we do. So sometimes you will see just one or two of us, sitting in front, and putting questions forward. We'll throw it back and forward. Now, what we're going to do. So, firstly, would you like to introduce yourself to everybody that doesn't know you, Pauline?
Yeah, my name is Pauline, and I've been shopping at Queen's Market for 55 years, and I'm working with the Friends of Queen's Market, who came into being when the market was threatened with a crowd of developers back at the turn of the century, 2002, and they were called St Modwen, and we managed to get rid of them jointly, the little crowd of us. And since then, we've carried on campaigning for the market. And Friends of Queen's Market are brilliant people. I am their inefficient secretary, but I enjoy it.
Never. I think you actually keep everything bonded together. And that's one thing about having a good secretary, a good sort of, I don't know, good leader, whatever you want to describe. You need somebody solid to keep everything together. Pauline, have we got any updates first? Let's get this housekeeping sort of things, ironed out. I mean, let's see what's going on. I mean, things like the traders, the lighting, things like that. I mean, what has happened? Has anything improved? Has engagement improved? Are we getting something positive?
Well, the Traders Union have managed to get big shots from the council down to talk to them. And that's stage one of any process, because the council's default position is, who are these little people making silly little noises? Let's ignore them. So they've got past that stage and some big shots have come down. Now, what's happened about the lighting? They've got promises. And hopefully they will be able to engage with the people in charge of the lighting. The council doesn't really like traders or anyone to deal with the people who actually deliver the goods, deliver the lighting. They prefer to put their middlemen in between. But hopefully the traders will get to speak to the guy who supplied the lighting, and then they'll be able to talk as practical people and get something done. We're hopeful. They've been promised.
On the lighting, Pauline, I went through the interview that our producer did with the mayor, and she recognised that there was an issue with the lighting. It was too low.
Fair dues, yes.
So she did recognise it, and but could that have been done any sooner? Could that have been done with if they'd engaged a bit better?
Well, of course, because this problem's been going on since June.
You know.
But it's quite something to get the council to admit that there's a problem and commit to doing something. I'm not sure if the mayor committed to do something, but her underlings are saying they will do something. So if the traders can carry on, because they're developing follow-up skills, which is what you always need with this council. The union's sort of learning as they go and doing pretty well, I think, considering they've only been around for a year or so.
I mean, on that, we don't really want to get bogged down. I'll come back to it later about the lighting. I mean, how has the traders union been engaging with people from the council? I mean, is the engagement much more full on? Is the engagement where it's a two-way reciprocation of information and action? Is it just, we'll listen and then we'll think about it?
To be honest, that's what you always get from the council. I don't think, and I would say councils everywhere. I mean, I don't think in this wicked world, the people who've got the power, the people who've got the money, come along and say, what would you like? What are your ideas? You know, they might ask for your ideas, but then their response is, we'll take them away. I don't think you'll ever get the council saying, right, that's brilliant. Let's talk about implementation. We'll send our men down, our contractors, our head of services, and he can talk to you and you draw up a plan. That would be heaven, but it doesn't happen. So they're not doing badly in terms of getting people down and keeping going, I think.
Okay, how's that paintwork going? They've started doing some paintwork, some odd designs, which I've raised before. It was like paint by numbers. I mean, has it come to an end? I mean, is any more going to be done on it? I mean, are we going to see a bit more improvement on, even if it's superficial, are we going to see it on there?
You see, this I don't know. I mean, but I would say that the traders are probably right to keep to one or two issues at a time. You know, if you ask for too many things,
there's
nothing
that side.
gets done. It's a tactic thing.
How would, when we're talking about big shots, who are we talking about when we're talking about people coming in and engaging with the traders?
We're talking about the director of, they've got such long names, all these people. We're talking about directors and corporate directors.
I mean,
and the chief executive.
I mean, I've got names like Adi Gabargo.
Yes.
Wonderful salary. But I'm wondering whether that's reciprocated, right, with, you know, with communication skills, right, with, you know, both sides of the party, whether it's a council and the traders, a council and home, you know, whoever it is that's running it, you know, that's part of the council. I mean, how has she functioned with, you know, with
I wouldn't actually want to name names. I think the people, they've all been polite, which is something, because officials aren't always polite, but they've all been very polite and they've all listened. So
well, we're getting some heavyweights in there. We've had Paul Kitson, we've got Matilda, we got other people coming in there. I mean, we're talking about a lot of people coming in there.
Yeah.
Now, is that due to, you know, some of the things that the Friends of Queen's Market have been pushing on the sideline? Is that due to the combination of Friends of Queen's Market making a much more positive push, right, and also the traders making a positive push?
I would like to think so. I would. You never know what impact you have, which is one reason why Friends of Queen's Market always keeps going.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
You know, it appears that nothing's happening, but we're not flies on the wall behind the scenes.
No.
You never know the effects of your actions. So
no.
It's worth plotting. But yes.
I was going to say, because, I mean, there's a question that did come out of a couple of the names from here. And the phrase they used is, it's a traditional sort of answer, is, we're going to look at the streamlining the communication process. I've seen this in many documents and many rolled out pieces of paper when I worked in office environment, especially within the service industry.
Yeah.
It was streamlining the communication. That normally happens when there's a screw up in the beginning. So do we think we've got any chance of getting much more streamlined within the communication process from the traders to the people it really matters in, you know, in the council who can make a difference?
Well, I think the traders are pretty good at putting their points over on what they want. So the communication, I mean, streamlining communication sounds as if both sides are to blame.
Both sides,
yeah. And I would say no. The traders are clear what they want. Nobody can nobody can be in any doubt what the traders want, and nobody could be in any doubt what the public want if the council were to ask the public.
Yeah, I mean, they have said things like, it seems like it's a departmental issue. I mean, how many times have we heard that before in the past in just about every walks of life when it comes down to dealing with management? Departmental issues. At what point do we sort our issues out in department? If you're a council that's been going on since 1965, right? Or, when do you sort these issues out?
Well, I think this is a classical council government ploy. I mean, to be fair, I mean, they probably have schools where they teach all these phrases to council officials.
It's many a soundbite.
I mean, it's just that you could paraphrase it as, not me, Gov.
Yeah,
not my problem.
Yeah.
Go next door.
Go next door. Go and knock on that door over there,
Yeah,
and then
you
come
said
back
it.
to me.
You said it.
Yeah, with a gold
Yeah.
plated stamp on there.
Yeah.
Okay. Canopy works.
That is, I mean, the canopies, as you know, I mean, first of all, the way the council talks about canopies, as if we're down on the south of France,
Yeah, I know.
drinking in the sunshine,
I
with
know.
something to keep the hot sun off of us. What? Oh, excuse me. What they mean by canopies is the little roofs they had over these stalls at the
Yeah.
front of the market. Which weren't bad. They didn't leak.
They did their
unlike
purpose.
unlike the rest of the market where the roof does leak.
Mm.
But they decreed that these should go because they weren't pretty. I think most people come to the market for shopping, not to sort of stand back and say how beautiful the little roofs are. But they decided they should go, and that Queen's Market should have some sort of triumphal entry point.
Well, I think everybody likes to come to a well-presented, well-turned-out market.
Actually, you're
clean
right.
and tidy, and
You're right.
it gives you an invitation to say, "Come inside." You've been here a million times. Come back for another million times, because we have everything you need. So a good, clean market is a well-kept market, is a well-attended market, and plus it improves dwell time of people, right, when they're in there, because they're communicating with people, and it creates a nice ambience when the market's in a presentable state. So
I think you're right, and I think that's why people went for it.
Yeah. But the thing is but personally, my personal view, the canopies we had there were actually great.
Yeah.
It just needed cleaning.
That's right. There were plants growing
There
in
was-
the gutters.
There was everything.
Yeah.
You would do that. Your own house. You would just do general maintenance on your own house. You would clean the weeds out of your gutters and the grass that's growing out there,
Yeah.
right? You would do all these. You would take the algae off, your gutters or whatever. We'd never had any proper maintenance on that place. Never a proper cleanup. And I remember it used to be cleaned quite regular. Even the floors were jet washed, right, by 2 people. Then it went down to 1 person, and it was done at regular times. And then it sort of disappeared over time. So it just wasn't maintained. And the first thing that goes, it's its facial, it's presence, when it looks run down. And that is what, we could have done with a good cleanup, a good spring clean. We didn't need to spend millions or thousands in changing the canopy, in my opinion. They would have done. We could have spent the money on somewhere else. Now, I was hearing.
I think what you were leading on to, if
Go on.
yeah, I mean, you're the interviewer and I'm the interviewee. Well, is that this canopy work means that they boarded up the front of the market, and that is that's actually confused people. I mean, somebody I know who sort of follows new affairs said, "Oh, they've started work on the market, building the luxury flats."
Yeah.
I said, "How come? You know, what makes you think that? Oh, well, they've boarded up the front of the market. So it does look bad. There are notices on it saying the market is open, but to be honest, if you're in a hurry, what you notice is the market is boarded up. You know, most people don't have time to read every single notice that comes their way. So that is worrying.
I took some pictures from across the road, and the pictures themselves, if I went with it and showed it to somebody, would show that the place has been boarded up.
Yeah. So the traders were really pushing on that. You know, what's going on here? Are the workmen being deployed elsewhere? Because there are days when they don't show up.
Yeah.
I don't think that whoever's the building firm that's employing them is being kind and giving them days holidays. I think they're being moved somewhere else. Yes. So, but the traders have pushed, and they've been told fairly definitely by the beginning of February. But
by beginning of February
2025.
To do what?
To complete the work on the canopies and onboard the front of the market.
Why so long? Or is that
I mean, if you ask, they will come up with technical replies.
Yeah, I know. I've seen plenty of
foundations and all that stuff.
That was one of the things I was going to raise. Is that they mentioned that the foundation wasn't up to scratch. The foundations took the canopies that are there now.
Yeah.
And so are these canopies going to be of such weight that is going to have an impact on our foundations there? Now, I have a problem with a lot, understanding that.
This is why we need to talk to the guys who are doing the work, because the most you'll get with a question like that is sort of, I'll take it down, I'll raise it with our technical department, or I'll raise it with the contractors. You never get a chance to ask these things face to face.
So really, we really don't know the finishing time, really. We haven't really got an idea. They haven't really put it in pen and paper and said that, you know what, bang, we're going to do that. That's going to be delivered on time. If people are not turning up, if just a skeleton crew's turning up, we're not, there doesn't seem to be this big rush, to make sure it stays, as scheduled.
I think we'd have to check with the traders. I think since they kicked up, there have been more, the work has been accelerated.
Pushing a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, they can be very forceful.
Good.
Because they had some experts in when over the lighting, when the lighting was first installed, and the experts actually tried to tell them that their perceptions were wrong and the lighting was perfectly good. And they brought in a lot of technical terms. These were consultants, by the way, not the guys who put the lighting in.
Yeah.
But the traders really stuck to their guns and said, we don't know about lumens, we don't know about kilowatts. What we do know is the market is darker.
Dark. Yeah.
And now even the mayor admits that.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I was a bit surprised, but she did say that. So, one up for Roxana, mate. Yes. Now, I want to move on. Do we have a better understanding, Pauline, of co-create? I know. But do we have a better understanding? Do we, if I went to somebody on the street and said, "Oh, you could find it on the co-create," do you think the average person on the street would understand what I mean? That
is a good way of asking the question. Now stop me if I'm stealing your lines.
You may.
You're talking about people who want to know what's going to happen to the market.
Yeah.
You would think that it would be on the council website, all this talk about the future of the market. Not a bit of it. Look up the market and all you'll see is the opening hours. Now, where all this good growth business, the story of the canopies, the story of all the other stuff, the story of the lighting, is on another website called, as you said, Newham Co-Create.
Yeah.
And that is where, and it's a very unfriendly site to move around. We actually got an expert lady who worked at the university. We met her on the Trades Council to review that site. And she said, no, it is unfriendly and it's not technically very good. But anyway, that's where the information is. And if you click...
Sorry, who's this person?
Do you know off the top of my head?
Yes.
Because I'm old, I can't remember her name.
No, but where's she from?
University of East London.
University of East London.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, fine.
People pop up all over the place to do us favours.
Fantastic.
You know? I better not name drop, but you know, we've had help from really good people and really top people. Yes. So back to it. This website. So you have to click here and click there. And interestingly, you have to scroll right down the menu before you get anywhere near Queen's Market. And then they call it the investment strategy. That is where the dodgy stuff about the future of the market is. Now, it is on the Co-Create website, as you say, but co-creation, to my mind, is a little fairy story about how the council and the people work together on what they're going to deliver to the public. You know, it's rather like the lion and the lamb co-creating a dietary plan. I'm going
to ask you a question. When did this soundbite co-create come about and co-production come about? Because all of a sudden I saw it around everywhere. And I thought, what, you know, it was like I had to look it up. And then I started hearing it in the media. I started hearing it on social media. I started hearing it everywhere, but mainly from government bodies.
Yeah.
You know, mainly from government bodies said, oh, we co-create these, co-produce these. But I never, even when I've mentioned it to councillors, I said, what does co-create mean to you?
And if they're honest, they'll just roll their eyes.
And that's what they did.
Yeah, and shrug their shoulders.
And I said to them, what does co-production mean to you? Explain it to me as if I have no idea, you know, I've just come from another planet, you know, and explain that to me. And they couldn't.
No.
They said, it's all about working together. I said, well, at what point do we start this co-bit?
Yeah. I mean, no, it's a no, but I do want to talk at some point about what is on that site.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Quite alarming, actually. Yeah. There've always been problems with that site. It has a sort of timetable on it for what they're doing to plan for the future of the market. It also has up there the two options, the dreaded two options, both of them with housing, with apartments. And of course, what Friends of Queen's Market have said all along is that luxury apartments and markets don't mix, and they will be luxury apartments because the council is not building social housing. It may be that they can't build social housing because the government won't let them. It may be that while there's right to buy, they feel, what's the point if you're going to build lots of social housing and then people get into debt, front men come along and say, use your right to buy and I'll buy it off you. You know how it goes. But anyway, the fact is, the last 2 years that we have statistics for, the 22 to 23, the number of social homes that were completed in Newham were 26.
Between what year and what year?
22. 2022
to 23.
2023, yes. Yeah. So that is why we are dead against the idea of housing on the site. It won't be for people like us. It won't be for people on the housing list. And it will impact the market. A lot of people.
Sorry, how many was it? Did you say
26?
26 social housing?
Yeah. Yes.
And we've got mountains of buildings going up every day,
really sad,
which is actually I really don't know what to say about it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I don't know how we could even talk about homelessness when we've got all that development and we're only producing 26 within 1 year.
Yeah.
And something needs to be dealt with. I mean, I know for a fact that the news lately has been talking a lot about developing social housing and expanding, and looking at the stocks that they already have. But that's a different topic for another day.
If I could add, all you patient listeners, if I could add just one thing, how the council muddies the water on that one is they talk about affordable housing.
Yeah.
And you would think, if you didn't go into it, that affordable is the same as social housing. Yeah. They sometimes even talk of council housing, not meaning council housing to rent, just meaning homes the council's built to sell. And affordable housing could be 80% of the market rent. Well, you know what the market rent is. You can pay for a nice little flat, you can pay £1,600, £2,000.
And it's not even controlled. They just keep going up every year.
It keeps going up, as you say.
Stan, one of our members, has said that West Ham Football Ground, which had, I don't know, over 900 flats or whatever, plus only 20 something was affordable.
39
affordable housing. And the thing is, out of that they keep increasing the rent. And it's never secured. And people are struggling to hold on to what they got. And the thing is, once your wages gets to about 50%, your rent, what you're paying out, it's about 30-50% of your wages. What is the point? I mean, we are in dire straits, but I think that's a topic that we're going to have to deal with at another time.
Separately, but just to say that this whole idea of putting housing there is not going to fix the housing crisis. It's not for us. So the other thing the council have done quite a good job of is saying things like the market will always stay and not revealing their plans for the shops around the market or the area where the shoppers store their food and store their vehicles, which are going to go under some of these plans. No two ways about it.
Well, the mayor was quite positive. The mayor said it has a history. We have a historical market here that's been here for X amount of years. And she doesn't accept the charge that is going to be demolished.
That is technically quite true. The market, the stalls will stay there. She didn't say on that broadcast how many stalls. Now, we've got in Plaistow a little road called Kelland Road.
Kelland Road, yep.
Yeah. And in there is one stall.
Yes,
that one stall is a market.
Yep.
Because Kelland Road is actually what they call a charter market.
It is.
If you travel back 600 years, and it was probably bustling, farmers were driving their cattle there, everything.
Yeah.
Gradually went down, they built houses around it, but because of that charter, legally, there can be a market there. But I think you'd have a real problem trying to expand it, trying to take over Kelland Road. You'd have to expand into the Barking Road.
We could say the same thing about Rathbone Street Market.
Yeah, exactly.
3 or 4 stalls don't make a market.
Exactly.
I think,
and the shops all went at Rathbone.
The thing is, they seem to sort of shift the definition to suit their own sort of
By a market, everybody means the market and shops, because you see shoppers going around the market. They pop into the shops and they go out to the stalls, then they're in the shops again, And people from those shops are standing out in the market. You
So
know.
let's go back to co-create. So co-create, it's not what it's supposed to be doing. It's not co-create. It's not informing us so that we could get involved in this co-creation or whatever's going on in our area. We're not being participants within our own area, within my own house. We're not sharing a development. We're not sharing a common vision because we can't access the right information.
Well, it's also that they don't. It's like Ford's used to say, you can have any colour car you want as long as it's black. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, I mean, look, the developer is not going to sit down and his representatives and say, I'm going to give you a choice. Let's sit down and work on this. You can, if you want to, tell me to clear off, you know, or you can tell me to put $500,000 in the pot to clean up the market. He's not going to say that. So the whole thing is, you know, I don't know where the idea came from, but it really does rests on the idea that people are stupid and they will really, people perhaps not stupid, kind. I think a lot of people are very kind in their judgments. They think that the council wouldn't really want to take away their market, you know, and they will listen to them.
Pauline, we're going to go on a little break. I need to have a drink of water. This cold is not doing me much good.
Ah, you poor thing. Yeah.
Going up. 9. Hello, right. Revive FM 94.0. We've come back off our break. Thank you very much for waiting. I've got Pauline on the other side of the table. Pauline, is there anything that you might want to be talking about that I'm going to overlook? Because I've got a lot of questions, and I think I may end up, running my questions through and not actually, maybe you might have some questions. But the thing is, what I want to put forward to you, we did on the consultations, we did hell of a lot. We attended the Queen's Market, we attended the libraries, right? On the post-its, do we have, some of the comments that people have left on there by chance?
Right now, stop me if I'm going too deep into things. If you go onto the Co-Create website, you won't just see the council's 2 ideas, 2 options for the future of the market. You will see a kind of program for consulting people and then making their decision, how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Now, back in May, there was what they called public engagement.
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about, where they had displays on in the market,
Yeah.
and libraries,
Mm-hmm.
and people wrote down their comments on post-it slips.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to come back to that, but there is something really, a real cause for concern,
Mm-hmm.
because next on their list was that after people wrote their post-it slips, the council was going to come back with the results of the public engagement.
Mm-hmm.
And that was to be in August. They were going to present the preferred final proposal, which one of the options, and set out a schedule of comments received from the last 2 public engagement
That's
events.
Right. Yeah.
And that was August the 30th. So we've been waiting patiently.
Yeah.
When we raised it with the gentleman who was doing the head of regeneration, who's left in October, when we raised it with him, he sort of implied that there was a problem with the website and it wasn't quite up to date, or it was showing things that weren't going on. But it still shows that this should have happened on the 30th of August. We all know it didn't. None of us have been told what people said. Fortunately, members of Friends of Queen's Market took photographs of the post-it slips, and we've been getting them written out and typed, because people it's very, very bad of the council, because a lot of thought went into those comments. People took time out to understand the 2 options, see whether they liked them. People from Friends of Queen's Market were there to tell people our view of the 2 options.
Yeah.
But people from the planning department were there as well. And we didn't have any rows. I said to the planning department lady, look, you tell them your side of things and we'll tell them our side of things. She said, well, it's not exactly our side of things, but, we left it there. So that's what we've been waiting for. And now it shows, the Co-Create website shows that stage has gone, and they're actually giving recommendations to Cabinet. But that's dated the 30th of September.
Yeah.
So we've got to find out as a matter of urgency. We've been far too patient. I was criticising the good people of Newham for being too nice, but we've been too nice. We've just let them get on with it, you know, and we've got to knock on their door and say, what is going on? What happened to those post-it slips? You said you'd set out a schedule. Where is the schedule? And this is quite worrying. Now, especially as it's December, because Newham Council, and I don't expect they're the only council, they've got a history of doing dirty work in December
Yeah, yeah.
when everyone is thinking about Christmas and partying, those of us who do go partying and all the rest of it.
You shut up shop time that time.
Yeah. So
yeah.
we've really got to find out what's going
Have
on.
we brought in a big representation, right, to find out what's going on? You know, why the delay?
Well, no.
Especially when they've admitted this, there's a departmental issue, you know, should we not then say that you've identified that, now let's get on with it and find out?
Yes, dear listeners, you're the first to know, but we're going to have an urgent Friends of Queen's Market meeting. A lot of members are aware this is going on, but we're really going to have to see what we're going to do. Other things keep cropping up. You see, there's the whole bit of stuff at the Greater London Assembly. I don't know, but perhaps this is not the time to talk about it, but we had to send papers about what was going on, and hopefully somebody out there is listening to us.
If you want to just highlight how far we've gone, that the GLA, you know, we have representation within the GLA that are trying to put our calls forward to Sadiq Khan and the committee.
Yes, the scrutiny committee particularly.
Yeah.
They're looking at the social value of markets.
Exactly.
Which is really important.
Yeah.
So with all that going on, but we've got to move because something is wrong with that website. Either the website is just rubbish and is showing things that aren't happening, or
it's purposely done
something's
that
going
way.
on behind our backs. Not
well, do you think the mayor should be contacted directly and, you know, and leave it on the mayor's shoulders to find out what's going on, so that we, the public, can then, you know, decide which direction we want to go with things?
That's certainly one option. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
The only problem is if you go too high up, your question gets passed down the food chain.
Yes,
and there's always the risk that it can disappear into one of these black holes that conveniently pop up when you answer awkward questions.
Well, we could always put a sprinkler in it over with the GLAs and you know, and sprinkle a few words that side and some to the mayor and some to the council. Hopefully they might come together somewhere. But it seems that everything's a struggle. It's always an uphill struggle to find out the truth of what they're doing.
You're so right. And this is why we've got to really congratulate all the people, all the 6,000 plus people who stopped to sign the petition and talk about the market.
Yeah.
And all the people who wrote on the post-it slips, because people are busy, but there are a lot of people who've taken time out to show their concern for the market and do what they can and get their heads around the issues and understand them.
Well, the thing is, we've never, how many people do you think that it really encountered? Because it was local, it was around the market area. How many people do you think they encountered? You know, did they encounter like 500 people? They encountered 600 people who came to, you know, this consultation, process. How many people do you think they may have turned? How many post-its do you think that actually went on the board?
Yeah, I'm estimating about 200, and I'm estimating that they 200, 500, not more than 1,000 when they had their public engagement. But the only thing is that, as far as I could see, reading through the comments, the public engagement did have quite a cross-section of the concerned public.
Yes.
It wasn't like the council's hand-picked sort of consultation groups, which were really focus groups, which they had in 2022. But that's another story.
Well, we've got 500.
Water under the bridge.
The thing, we've got 500. Just take 500. But our last survey, we got 300 and something thousand people who are residents. Did they actually do this similar sort of thing in Rathbone Street? Say, well, we did, we got Did they consult anybody at this part of the area? Because I doubt very much if they did. So this is where my issue is.
I wouldn't worry about that, because I think we've provided the consultation with our petition, because we talked people through. You'll know that you were one of the people, because sign the petition about the market, and the first reaction was, well, why?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Mm.
You know, and then we talk about the council plans, and people hadn't heard of them back in 22, 23. They
No.
just weren't aware. So we told people, and you could take it that everyone who signed the petition knew what was going on, because we explained it to them.
Yeah.
So I think, I think enough people are aware now, and enough people are unhappy. And if we lived in a democracy where the council would be really taking notice of this, maybe they are behind the scenes because they want a quiet life,
Yeah, democracy is a bit elusive to me, to tell you the truth. I mean, that's a different topic on its own. I think I could talk about it on my own. But I'm finding this consultation. Should I really go down this road about consultation?
I think you should go back down the road of what we got in the market feedback, what people have said, because, they didn't consult everyone. And don't forget, there is an argument actually against consulting everyone in the London Borough of Newham, because there are areas in Newham that are miles away from the market.
Yeah.
And it's not a problem now, but I've been in Newham, shopping and active in Newham since the 70s. And quite a few years ago, there were certain areas of the market of Newham that didn't like the market at all, because of the clientele it serves, because of the ethnicity of traders and shoppers. So, these sort of pockets of white supremacists would not be keen on keeping the market. Happily, most of them have moved out of the London Borough of Newham, and it really is diverse now.
Yeah, I've always argued this point about shifting demographics. I always tell people that if you don't want it to change, don't move. I've said that to many people. If you don't want it to change, stay where you are.
But I mean, it does make you wonder whether sometimes there is there is a bit of an agenda to see a whiter market and a whiter Breed Street. I think I'd better leave it there, because I'm not paranoid.
I feel the same.
Things are said from time to time. I do remember that when Newham Council joined with the Borough of Havering in one source, a lot of things were said in Havering, and I think I'd better leave it there.
I know. But the thing is, it's sometimes, you have to bring it out in the open to sort of highlight. It's nothing wrong with that, because it's the way that times change.
Yeah.
Attitudes change, demographic makeup change.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that change. Even how cultures are presented in the media, in the BBC, so to speak. It's changed a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I think what it is, we go by just what is local, and we judge a lot of things by what is local. The people we see locally, the people, that we interact locally. And the market is part of that sort of thing. It's a local focal point. So, if I was going to sort of say, as a question that was put to me by Khadija sort of said, Khadija sort of said, if the market could speak, what would it say? I think it's a fantastic sort of comment. What would you think the market say from your perspective?
There you are. I think if I was the market, I would say, no 2 days are ever the same.
Exactly. Perfect.
I wake up each morning when the traders put out their stalls, wondering what will happen next.
Yeah.
What new stalls, what new shoppers, and
New sites,
yes,
new
and
colours, new
yeah,
languages, new interactions.
exactly, yes.
I mean, to me, a market's like a child. It wants absorb all these new little things, right? But a market, like a child or anything, you could hurt it really if you don't take care of it. It needs to be nurtured. It needs to be protected. It needs to be, fixed and repaired, and it needs all these sort of things. A market will inevitably, if you don't look after it, it will die. It's just a simple fact. We have to. How do we? I mean, on those Post-its, what was the most common comment that came out of the Post-its that you think that came out of there?
I haven't counted them. I mean, the comments, the people who adopted some of the ideas of the plans fairly obviously thought that they could have the market, the shops as it is, and the goodies that were on offer.
Yeah.
Nobody, as far as I can see, nobody said the shops should go, the storage area should go and be replaced by. But a lot of people in a hurry, thinking that the picture that they were getting from the planning department was the whole story, really thought that you could have the market, the shops. They probably didn't think about the storage area because people don't think these things through. A lot of people feel that the goods appear from the stores as if by magic. They don't think it through. But obviously, if they thought for a moment, the storage area is vital because that's how the traders sell bulk and get the discounts.
Yeah.
So, people in a rush didn't think about that. But the people who are happy with the plans, obviously think you can have market, shops, storage area, and flats, and it'll all be one happy family. And sadly, it's not coexist. So you've got a lot of comments like,
Pauline, Blue Tack is failing us again. Our poster will fall down, so don't get shocked.
Oh, right. If it falls on me. So a lot of people said health centre is good, but they were thinking, again, they hadn't thought it through because when you move a health centre, I know somebody whose health centre was moved 2 bus rides away. There you are.
There you are. And that when I spoke to a counsellor, and I did ask her, I said, is there any latest? I spoke to a couple. I said, is there any latest? Is there any new information about the health centre and the library? And I was told, saying it's all gone quiet. Nothing's coming out.
I hope, yes.
So, and that was about a month ago. I spoke to some, because I trip over counsellors right now and then. And I do ask them straightforward questions, but they seem to, unless they're keeping it close to the chest, but if they are, they're hiding it very well.
Yes. I mean, you're getting comments. I mean, a lot of people are saying neither A nor B. Market is traditional way of shopping, like it as it is. Somebody else wrote, affordable homes is a priority, but don't believe that will happen. Feel cynical. And then we've got especially what was it?
I did find when I was talking to some of the people on the so-called consultants, that the language they were using was very very one-sided, very tipped. The wordings were very tipped.
They speak as if you can have all this without demolishing anything. But I mean, look at this. The market is a good service for the community. The community will be much the poorer without it. Let the market live on so we may live also.
There you go.
And that's
I mean, come on. That's poetry.
It really is. That's a phrase to end the show on when we. But we've got a lot more yapping to do. But even things just simply, people wrote, "No, we don't like this plan. Keep our heartland. No development.
Ah,
Keep market. Improve lighting, floor, lift, etc." See, I think some people thought that the council was really asking them, "What do you want?" and they stood a reasonable chance of getting it.
yeah.
Leave it like it is. We go shopping every day. Lots of people come from far away. Leave it like this, please, 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 4 times. There you are. This guy,
And some of them people come from a distance, or they're just locals.
Well, they wrote lots of people come from far away, and I think that is true. People do come from. I mean, people have come from East Anglia to shop.
True.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I know I met a guy with a restaurant in Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea who bought his fish at Queen's Market. Yes, so.
But the thing is, the market, it plays a prominent part in a lot of people's lives. I think it provides some sort of continuity in their life. So I think a lot of the posters do express that from a lot of people.
And there's a lot of thought went into it. Consider building homes on Shaftesbury Road car park site. And could have put additional parking on Queen's Market.
Yeah.
So you'd have that's somebody who's really thought, that you could actually squeeze in a few more parking. But then parking is another complete issue.
Yeah, that's a big issue. I mean,
it's amazing that that we have so many people at the market, given what they charge for parking. But
I think £3 something for an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. That's like Kensington sort of rates.
I mean, it shows how good the market is because it's not an even playing field compared with the giant supermarkets.
I mean, I've gone up there when the top level car park's full, and I'm wondering where the heck are these people gone?
Yeah.
So and then I've gone down the market, and I must admit that it's been bustling down there. It has been bustling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what it is, so we've public engagement. So we need to be. So do you think we're fulfilling our public engagement to the people?
Well, I mean, it certainly was a good idea to get people to write things down. Because they had a chance to think. And I mean, there were. I've read the pro-market ones, but. Somebody wrote more public open spaces, for example. Now you can't have that without something going. Whether that's what they wanted, I don't know. Want community centre, but not new housing. I'm not even sure they're offering a community centre. There's one at the back of the market anyway, which isn't being used. But there you go.
Well, we found out from other places who've had have got markets, and where people have moved in, people with money that seem to want to change that area they've moved in, i.e. the noise of the market.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, how can you stop the noise of the market? That's a ridiculous sort of. But you move in there. You move in there because of that culture.
Yeah.
And then you want to put your imprint in it by getting rid of that culture.
I don't think you move in if you're wealthy because of that culture. You move in because you're next to the underground.
Right.
And you're hoping that the area will come up and become very select. Do you remember when Islington? I can remember when Islington was a real working class area, and also around Spitalfields. And the first people who got there sort of regarded themselves as I don't know, kind of pioneers.
Especially if you're living off a commercial road.
Yeah, pioneers. But It really has changed. So I think, you know, the rich people, either they don't care because all their life is outside outside Newham,
Yeah.
and there is some evidence that they don't use the coffee bars locally.
No.
A few sprung up to cater for them, but they don't seem to be patronised by these people. They
Pauline,
don't use our market.
Pauline, we're going to end this show, but I'll just got a couple of little things I'm going to say quickly, and that is, I didn't know from the from some of the YouTubes I saw that it should be a shire horse. So you should come down Green Street, you should collect the waste fruit and veg and take it back to the farm that we still have in Beckton. That's what happened, and that on that video it showed that from 0% to 25% recycling that was going on. So recycling has been done by our markets long before others took it on, and it was done by now. Since the farm went, we lost the horse. So it just showed you that people did want to keep traditions going, even if we have the big beast of burdens, right, doing it for all of us. Okay, listen, we're going to end this show, and hopefully we'll come back. We had so much to talk about, but we'll leave you at that.
Time flies when
Time
you're having
flies.
fun.
Okay, all right, take it.